Dreams. We're all born with them. Dreams of adventure, of finding a sense of purpose, meaning, of reaching our full potential. And wherever your dreams take you, your journey starts with UAC.
Hi, I'm Christina, and I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Music with a major in vocal classical voice at the Sydney Conservatory of Music, which is part of the University of Sydney.
Hey, I'm Matt. I'm doing a Bachelor of Music at Western Sydney University.
Hi, I'm Julia. I study a Bachelor of Music and Sound Design and a Bachelor of International Studies at UTS.
Picking a uni course for me was kind of difficult because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do when I got to the end of year 12 or even halfway through year 12. I thought I might wanted to do engineering or music or dance or something like that. Unfortunately, the dance path for me wasn't entirely possible. I sustained an injury and I kind of realized halfway through year 12 that a dance career was definitely not going to be taking off anytime soon. So I kind of reflected on what I've been passionate about and what I've been learning in school and kind of thought about, okay, well, what do I want to do for the next 4 years of my life? What am I actually dedicated to? So engineering was one of those for me. My dad is an engineer and architect, and I was brought up in Dubai, where I was very much in the scene of that and got to see my dad working a lot. And I thought, yeah, okay, I could probably do that. But it wasn't until that I started to perform again and sing again on stage, which I had been doing since the age of 3, that I really did kind of be like, okay, music is definitely something that I need to pursue for myself.
So I was really passionate about music for most of my high school life, and I felt that a Bachelor of Music would be the natural next step for my education. But earlier on, I really wasn't aware that universities even offered music courses. And when I found out, I knew I just wanted to learn as much as I could about music. So I knew that's what I'd want to do. But I was also interested in the Bachelor of Creative Industries because it looked interesting. And I was kind of interested in the business side of music as well. So I actually enrolled into a double degree of music and creative industries. But after a few weeks, I kind of realized that at this point, I was mainly interested in focusing on music. So I transferred to a normal Bachelor of Music.
With my uni course, I just sort of went with my passions. I know a lot of people don't really go that route, but that's what I did. So I really loved music in high school. I really enjoyed music from year 7 to 12. And I knew that that's what I wanted to pursue in university. So I went for music and travel and sort of international and language, which were the 2 things that I really, really wanted to sort of continue my education in. So that's pretty much where I started and where I finished as well.
I put in quite a lot of research to find the right course. I looked at courses that were offered in Queensland, in Sydney, in Victoria, in Perth, and even in London and Manchester and New York when I finally decided that I was going to do music. And it wasn't until I started looking online and seeing the syllabus and people that I would be working with and kind of the opportunities that the university would give me that I kind of narrowed down a rough list of places that I would like to study at. And yeah, I auditioned for all of those.
I was actually offered a scholarship for Western Sydney. So that kind of helped my decision on what university to go to. But as for the course, I probably didn't do as much research as I should have because I knew I wanted to do the Bachelor of Music, but I probably could have looked into the creative industries a bit more because I might have realized that, I was more interested in focusing on music. But I was really glad that I was able to try both first and then change back to the Bachelor of Music.
In finding this course, I knew that I wanted to pursue music in university. And I knew that in high school, I'd already done quite a bit of performance and music theory. So I sort of wanted to do the other side of things in university. So that involves like the studio work, mixing, mastering, and editing. And I came across this course, and in doing the research for this course at UTS, I found that that's what they primarily focused on. So it's not really your quote unquote traditional sort of music theory followed by performance kind of further education. It's more the behind the scenes, the studio work, working with microphones and equipment and software, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And then, of course, I knew that I wanted to travel. So knowing that you could add the international studies sort of portion of the degree sort of sold it for me a little bit.
I went to as many uni days as I possibly could, including career expos and career markets. And I pestered the poor student ambassadors to an inch of their life, asking them like 101 questions. I am a Capricorn and I also have Italian heritage. So I knew that if I was going to be doing a performing arts degree, I had to make sure that I definitely knew what I was getting into. And luckily, every single person I talked to knew exactly what they were talking about. And they were so, so helpful and so wonderful in answering all of my questions and helping me feel really confident in the choices I was making in my applications.
So I started in 2020, but I attended a Western Sydney University Open Day when I was in high school. And I spoke with an academic about the Bachelor of Music, and we had a really good chat that just answered all of my questions, and gave me all the information I was looking for and more. We did lots of excursions for different universities, but the main open days I went to was Western because I had already been offered that scholarship, so I knew that's where I was looking to go to.
So I actually didn't go to any uni open days for any university. I wish I did, but I didn't at the time. But I did know a bunch of people, friends and families who had visited various unis in Sydney. And yeah, I spoke to them heaps, and I spoke to people at school as well. And they sort of led me down the path that I wanted to go.
The application process was actually very easy for me. Select them and put them into your preferences, and it's really easy. The difficult part of the application process for me lied in the number of auditions and repertoire examples that I had to get ready. So for the conservatorium, we had to prepare 4 songs, I believe. It's been a few years, but I still believe it's 4 songs from various genres and eras of music. And you only end up performing maybe 2 or 3 of those actually in your audition, and then you have an interview after that. And I know at some other degrees in the conservatorium, you have to provide a portfolio or you have to provide written music and all of that, depending on the major that you're actually applying for. And then after that application process is done, you kind of just sit and you wait for a response.
I initially found the websites really confusing, but once I kind of became a bit more familiar with the application process, I feel like I understood better what I was doing. But I think it would be great if it was just a bit more straightforward and kind of just yes or no questions, I suppose, so that you can really just work your way through the process and know that you've done everything that you need to do. Well, what I received was the Academic Access Scholarship from Western Sydney. So I was actually offered the scholarship at the end of year 11 based on my year 11 results. And they give that to one student at the school. So I was aware of that, and I was already given a $500 study grant while I was in year 12 and given access to the university. But because I was doing music, I still had to do an audition to get in, which I did early in the year so that I knew I had my place. And if I got an ATAR over 90, I received $20,000 spread over 4 years.
So the application process was a little while ago, so I don't remember too much. But in saying that, it was pretty straightforward from what I can remember. I did get quite a bit of support from friends from school. I believe I approached some teachers as well, and we just sort of sat down and did it together. And yeah, we sort of like made sure we all got our emails together. So that was pretty good.
I wasn't really sure what to expect for a performing arts degree. Like, I presumed that university would be something like you see in a movie, but again, they're very Americanized. However, I knew that no matter what the degree threw at me, I would be okay. I'm a pretty studious person and I love performance. And so that was one of the perks of picking a degree that I knew I would love.
So I thought uni would be fun and energetic and just full of young people who had similar interests to me. And I was looking forward to the freedom of campus lifestyle and shorter hours than high school. But I'd also been warned about lecturers not being as kind or helpful as high school teachers. So I was a little bit worried about that.
So before I started uni, I thought that the structure of uni would be similar to school, pretty much. I thought that it was going to be sort of school, but more intense. Yeah, and that's pretty much the expectation that I had going into uni. Just, yeah, school, but bigger and better and more exciting.
So the conservatorium for me has been almost the exact opposite of anything I've ever seen in a movie. It is such a small, tight-knit community of fabulously talented people who really stick out their necks and care for each other in that. I've had an amazing university experience. I have been on the student board for the University of Sydney. And just last year, I even wrapped up being the president of the Conservatorium Students Association, where I got to work with other students on a board, and we got to plan events for the university students and help them out with their enrollment and run the open days on the other side, which was an amazing experience.
Yeah, well, the environment is definitely energetic and the lifestyle is exactly what I'd hoped for. But I think the lecturers are much more helpful and like they're very eager to help you succeed. So they're a lot more helpful than I was expecting them to be after what I'd been told. So the first semester this year, I was on campus, but then the second semester was online. So I've got a bit of a feel for how online and on-campus learning works. But as for my thoughts on uni, I think I've approached the learning in a similar way, both on campus and online. But when it's online, I've really enjoyed having that little bit of extra time without having to travel to campus and stuff like that. And then I've got everything I need with me. But I just always try to, work as hard as I can and give every assessment as much effort as I can put into it.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. It was a bit of a shock at first, because not like the learning was way more self-directed than I thought it would be. But it's just sort of uni life in general. It's pretty much what you put into it, you'll get out of uni life. And I didn't realize that for a little bit. So you have a lot of freedom as a uni student. And as an adult as well, of course. And you can sort of use that freedom however you like in university. You can direct it however you like. It's not sort of people, educators at school, kind of giving you step-by-step directions and telling you what to do, which I honestly loved. There's heaps of support available if you need it. And it's up to you to sort of get that support. People aren't going to really chase after you for homework or assessments and things like that. And what really helped me was communicating with tutors, seeing if there were extra support available if need be, and also communicating with your classmates as well. And, going to your lectures and going to your tutorials, and any extra if you're having trouble in the course was really, really helpful as well.
So for the first 2 years of your 4-year degree at the Conservatorium, you do what they call core unit subjects. So you have your principal study unit, which is either, for me, it's voice. So it could be violin or piano or bassoon or baroque flute or musicology or whatever you pick. And then you also have to do your music theory skills, which includes oral perception, which is listening skills, and harmony, which is your written and understanding of music. And then on top of that, you also have to do a history subject for the first 4 semesters. And they're all very chill. You get to be with all the people in your cohort and kind of get to know everyone. And they're really fun, small, intimate tutorials. And really, you just get to start to learn about music, which is your passion, which is why I was there. And then after that, I kind of moved into more performance-y, majoring things in year 3 and 4, including choir and ensemble, and getting to do productions and performances and all of that wonderful stuff that is in a performance degree.
Yeah, so in the Bachelor of Music, we cover a lot of different areas such as music theory, performance, composition, production, and history. At the moment, I'm doing sub-majors in production and performance, so I focus a lot on these skills, but we still cover a broad range of other areas.
Yeah, so in first year, music and sound design was pretty much the focus of my course. So yeah, we did the introductory subjects as well, working with sound, getting into the studio and learning how the studio works. And then they showed us the software that we would be using and taught us sort of, from the ground up how that software would work. And then it just sort of progressed throughout the year. We got musicians recording in the studio. We were mixing and mastering both individually and in groups. And it was just really cool. We sort of learned, like I said, how to do everything from scratch. And they made sure to teach us that as well. And then they just sort of let us go on our own so that we could learn these things properly through experience, which was really, really awesome. And then going into second year, I started my language subjects. So I started learning Italian in class, sort of prepping for international studies. And we dove further into working with sound and the voice as well, podcasting and things like that. So it was a really good eye opener for second year. It was sort of progressing again on the software that we learnt in first year. And then going into third year, COVID sort of hit a little bit, unfortunately. So a lot of our stuff we did from home, but I feel like we adapted pretty well. The language subjects were just as fun from home. And my electives, I focused quite a bit in third year on working with a lot of other comm students, lawyers, scientists as well, in my language and my language classes and my electives. And that was really, really good. Working with students from other disciplines and other schools at UTS was a really, really good experience for me. Pretty much because I'm doing my double degree, it extends my degree as a whole. So if I was just doing music and sound design, it would be 3 years, but I am currently in my fourth year out of a 5-year degree. But it doesn't add on any workload. It just extends the degree. So as I was saying, I started my language subjects in second year, and that means that I wouldn't have as many major music subjects in that year. It's stretched out along the 5 years so that obviously there's space to do the language subjects and the electives, and I'm not sort of overloaded with work. So I'll still be following the handbook and I'll still be doing everything in the order that's recommended as per the standalone degree. It's just been extended a little bit more to make room for the language subjects as well. And a bunch of other people are in the same boat as well. They're doing their international studies subjects along with their major subjects. And in the international studies subjects and electives, you're encouraged to tailor your assessments to your major. So it's not like you stop doing your major, you still have those subjects and you're still encouraged to use your knowledge and skills from those subjects in your assessments for electives as well.
Uni life has been tough, but fun. And I think you kind of expect that within any degree you do. But there's a certain community that is built within the conservatorium because we all kind of do the same thing and we're also passionate about what we're doing. One of my favorite things to do at the end of each year is to go to my fellow friends' recitals, no matter what instrument they are, and get to watch them and support them in, doing what they love, which has been an amazing thing that has been happening since the end of COVID again. Obviously, it's never ideal to be doing a performance degree online in COVID, but our staff really worked to the best of their ability to make sure that that was the best experience and opportunity that it possibly could be. I know that the conservatorium staff really went above and beyond for every single student to make sure that we were okay at home and that we were doing the workload okay. Obviously, the workload shifted when we were online. But I definitely bonded more with my friends over the whole experience. So I'm leaving university with a much stronger friend group than what I definitely started with.
A lot of my time at uni has been online due to COVID, but I was also able to spend quite a bit of time on campus as well. And, doing that, I got to see friends. I'd always love to get lunch before or after a class. And we'd catch up in the afternoons. But I've also really enjoyed doing the online learning. But there have been some areas such as performance in music that have been challenging online, but we've just done like the best we can in this situation. Like I would film videos at home and send them in for assignments, which isn't the same as being on stage, but we're just kind of working with what we've got. But when I was on campus, I really enjoyed spending time and collaborating with my friends. And I just really enjoy the laid back nature of university life.
So uni life so far has been a little bit of a roller coaster in a good way, but still a little bit of a roller coaster. Obviously with COVID and things like that, things have been changing over the past few years, but I've still found that everyone is just super keen to kind of get involved, and whether it's like, you know, academic stuff or social clubs and things like that, people seem really keen to just sort of get involved. I think uni life it was honestly a lot more laid back than I thought it would be at first, because like I said, I thought it was going to be like school, but at the same time, you know that everybody's working really, really hard, everyone's really dedicated and passionate, and you can see that when you're sort of working with them or even when you're hanging out with them. Another aspect of uni life that I've really sort of enjoyed is the way that you can sort of go about it unsupervised. You can go and use the facilities however you like. Like I said before, what you put into uni is what you get out of uni. So even in your spare time, using the facilities, I've really, really enjoyed, and I feel like it's been really helpful because I've got access to them and making sure that I was using them and familiarizing myself with them.
And it's just been really enjoyable for me to get to learn through them. I'd have to say the opportunity to get to work with all of the professionals in the industry, you really can't get there anywhere in the world. And it's just been an amazing opportunity to become friends with these professionals and to get to work with them and kind of pick their brains as to how they would do things or to how they would work on specific musical things.
For me, the best part about uni is being surrounded by people with similar interests to me, because they challenge me to improve. And I love having access to professional equipment and learning as much as I can about music and the music industry.
So the best part for me about being at uni is probably the sort of amount of opportunities that you have at your doorstep kind of thing. I know it sounds really cheesy, but there are honestly so many things available to you that weren't available to you beforehand, and you have so many sort of points of access and contact and things like that, networking opportunities. So I think having the choice and the vast array of opportunities kind of at your doorstep being at uni is probably the best thing about it. Especially being at UTS and in the middle of the city, you're kind of surrounded by opportunity. Feels like you're in a movie sort of thing. Yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing, definitely.
So initially, when I got into the conservatorium, I actually applied to be a musicology major because I wasn't entirely sure if I did actually want to do classical singing. It's very different from what I used to do, which is musical theatre. And I wasn't just sold on the idea that that's what I wanted to commit my degree to. And I knew I was a great writer. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do musicology. I'm going to really love it. I'm going to enjoy writing. I get to still be part of the community. I get to go see all these performances. And then I started writing about the writings of music, and I realized, oh, okay, this is really not what I thought it would be or what I wanted to do at all. So by the end of first semester, I kind of had made up my mind that next semester I would be auditioning and I would be transferring out and I would be doing vocal classical by this time next year. And so I had a talk with the head of the vocal department, who was very helpful and kind of ironed out what I would need to be able to internally transfer in the conservatorium. They helped me book in a interview and they helped me book in a audition. I got a pianist and I got a singing teacher to help me out, pick some repertoire and work on all of that. And then soon enough, it was September and I had auditioned and I got accepted and I transferred over as quickly as I could.
So I started in a Bachelor of Music and a Bachelor of Creative Industries. And I quickly realized that I didn't enjoy the creative industries as much as music. And the first unit I was doing in creative industries was a law unit. And I saw the size of the textbook and saw the essays and the assessments, and thought to myself that after high school I wasn't going to write any essays that I wasn't interested in. I decided to just change to just the Bachelor of Music. And since then I've never considered changing courses, and I've really been enjoying doing the Bachelor of Music.
I have. I feel like it's only natural to have thoughts of changing a university course. And I feel like, so many of my friends and things have had similar thoughts. I haven't changed my university course and I don't want to. I know that I want to pursue sort of further education afterwards, but no, I really, really love my course. I'm really glad that I picked it. And, all in all, I'm really glad that I'm sort of sticking with my first choice.
I guess for me, the dream has and will always be to be performing on Broadway. Whilst I have so immensely enjoyed the vocal classical degree, I just don't think I'm cut out to be an opera singer for the rest of my life. It has taught me so many amazing things about my voice and the vocal technique. And because of it, I can literally sing anything I want to. And I might, devil in it a little bit later on in life. I don't know really where it's going to take me. But at the moment, I'm looking at auditioning for masters in London and Manchester and New York, and traveling the world and hopefully performing around the world.
So I would really love to be a successful musician, and I'm really interested in writing and producing music, and I'd love to perform around the world. I'm currently in a progressive rock band called Gravity Stone, and we have music on Spotify. And we write original music and perform regularly. So I'd love to see what we can achieve as a band, and hopefully have some international success.
So I would still love to travel. I haven't gotten the opportunity to travel just yet, thanks to COVID. So I know that as soon as I finish my degree, I'm getting on a plane, and I would love to work overseas as well for a little bit, some mixing and mastering. We'll see what happens, but definitely in the cards for the future, I'd love to get my master's and eventually become a music teacher. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed music in high school, and I did it from year 7 to 12, and I just love to do that and sort of help other kids go through what I went through. Yeah, so I think that's my sort of 5-year plan, I guess.
I would recommend that you assess all of your options and go with your gut. Only you know what you want to do with your life and what you are capable of. And at your age, you're capable of anything, no matter your age, actually. So just absolutely 100% just go for it, and you'll have no regrets.
When I was in year 12 and looking to go to university, I was really worried about how busy I would feel, because I got very stressed throughout year 12 and felt like I really needed a break. And I was considering having a gap year, but someone who actually got through to me was the principal at my high school, who was also my mentor throughout year 12. And she pointed out to me that university life is very different to high school. So it won't be 9 till 3, 5 days a week. And I would still have a lot more time, for work and just for my music, and just see friends. So I think it's important that students remember that, the hours at uni are a lot less than school. So even though you might think you need a break, it might be good to go straight through, because then you'll finish the course earlier and you'll still have a lot more free time than you think you will.
A general university tip, I know this is going to sound really cheesy, and students have probably heard it a million times, but get involved. Get involved in whatever you can, and just write your name down and say yes to everything. In university, you're an adult. You don't have to do things like if you join a society, for example, you decide it's not for you, that's all right. No worries, no hard feelings, things like that. If your tutor says to you, hey, we've got this opportunity coming up, would you be interested? Just say yes straight away. that's probably my biggest sort of advice for anybody going to any university. Take advantage of all of those things and just say yes to everything.
UAC represents many institutions across New South Wales and the ACT. The universities featured in today's webinar are a small selection of the many institutions which offer the courses discussed today. Students should research all university offerings so they can make informed decisions regarding their future study.